Welcome to Eat Your Peas, the podcast about doing what's good for yourself, even when you don't feel like it. I'm Lily Rachels, and I'm serving up bite-sized growth principles to help you build happier and healthier relationships. Hey guys, welcome back to Eat Your Peas. Today I want to talk about unplugging from social media and when you should do a social media detox. Every so often, I deactivate or delete all my social media accounts. I like to just have a clean slate. I make my phone as boring as possible, and I try to unplug from the outer world, at least the internet outer world. I typically do this after I've experienced a large change in life, and I'm feeling the need to kind of pull back into myself and focus on the things that actually matter to me. And I find this time to be so beneficial. I want to share with you today how I do my social media detox and some signs that maybe it's time for you to consider doing the same. A couple of signs that you might need to step away from the internet world can be you're feeling overwhelmed, you're burnt out, you're confused, discontent, maybe you're experiencing a lot of grief and need some space. You're feeling lost, you don't know what you should do. You're having a lot of anxiety, especially when you're scrolling. You're living a FOMO life, that fear of missing out all the time. You are over-consuming, so ads are really making you, the clickbait to buy things, to get things. You're feeling a lot of fear around just maybe the state of the world or memes you're seeing or articles you're reading or maybe just the headlines you're reading. And overall, your life just feels chaotic. The world of social media and kind of that internet realm that we live in so often is this lack. It's always promoting what you lack, right? It's leaving you never satisfied. It's always showing you the areas of your life that you need more things in. And maybe that's literally more consumer goods, or maybe it's telling you need more success, more fame, more money, whatever it is, it's always drawing out this deep feeling of lack. So if you're finding yourself in that space, it might be a good time to shut those apps down for a while, to pull away and get back to what actually matters. So what are the benefits of doing this? Well, a couple of things. The first thing is this peace of mind. Now, I'll be honest, at first, you might experience some anxiety. I know for me, when I first delete apps or deactivate accounts, there's this feeling that I'm missing something, right? That I don't know what's going on, or I can't watch this story, or I'm not as connected to people. So a little bit of anxiety can come with that. But then as you go about it and, days turn into a week or maybe 2 weeks or even 3 or 4 weeks, I get this overwhelming peace. I get to focus. I'm not so stirred to pick my phone up and start scrolling. Another thing is it awakens your creativity. When you're not consuming all the time, your brain has an opportunity to get bored. And it's healthy for us to get bored. It's so good for us. So not only do you get more comfortable being bored, but you get more creative. This creativity is awakened because you're having to entertain yourself without this mindless scroll. A couple of other benefits. It's a great time to restructure priorities because, again, you have this time in your day. You have more time to focus on what matters to you. It's a good time to revisit your core values and see if your life is actually in alignment with what you believe and what you value and not just influenced by all the things you see on social media. You're going to get better sleep because your brain is going to have time to shut down and rest because it's not being overstimulated by blue light and entertainment and hits of dopamine as you're opening apps. And you can strengthen relationships because you'll have more time to connect either face-to-face with people, which I know is hard right now. We're in the middle of the pandemic, but you can call people, right? You can reach out to those people that you don't talk to as much because, I see their Facebook updates. But just because you can read what's on someone's mind or see a picture, you're not actually connecting with them. It would be like going to a party and just standing in the room and watching everyone and not talking to anybody. You weren't really at the party, right? Like physically you were there, but you didn't connect with anyone around you. And that's what social media is. We're all standing around at a party, not talking to anyone, just kind of observing what other people are doing and judging whether or not we think it's valuable. But when we strip all of that away, we have to actually go up and talk to someone. We have to pick up the phone. We have to reach out because we don't have this app where I can just check on you. I have to actually check on you. And one of the biggest benefits, you get to check on yourself. After, again, that little bit of anxiety I feel and maybe a little bit of FOMO, I then feel this overwhelming peace because I'm getting to nurture myself. This is you taking time to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I need? Where do I want to go? And what is happening in this moment? Like in this moment I'm living in, what is going on? Not how can I distract myself? So how do you do this? It's very simple. Pull out your phone and deactivate all your apps. So you might have to go to like Instagram.com to do this or Facebook.com to do this instead of the app, but simply deactivate your accounts and then delete the apps off your phone. It's very simple. And I like to give myself not necessarily an amount of time I have to do this for, like 3 months, no Instagram. Like I don't do anything like that. But I do make myself say at least a week. Because again, those first few days, sometimes I get that FOMO and anxiety and I want to check in and look things up. And so it's like, okay, at least a week. I can step away for a week. And in my experience, a week normally turns into a second week and typically a third week for me, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. And lastly, beware of filler apps. Again, we're trying to retrain our brain to not need that constant hit of dopamine and to get comfortable being bored so that we can get those benefits I talked about earlier. So for me, I have to be conscious about what other fun apps do I have on my phone. So if I have any games, which I'm not a game player on my phone, but say I had a game, I would delete that app as well because I don't want to use the time that I was scrolling on Instagram now on games. The one app for me that I have to make sure I take off my phone is Pinterest. I typically don't get on Pinterest until I delete Instagram. And then I find it's that filler app for when I get bored. So if you have something like that, I would encourage you to get rid of that app too. Again, we're going from a smartphone to a dumb phone, and it will benefit you. I hope you'll try this if you're feeling the need for a social media detox, you're ready to get more creative and refocus on what actually matters. I think December is a great time to do things like this because it can jumpstart us for that momentum we need to make those good changes that people like to make at the beginning of a new year. Don't forget to eat your peas. I'll be here next week.